thought it was a really, really competitive first half. I thought we played well. I thought it was good that we came out in the first quarter and got off to a much, much better start than we did in game one. I thought the third quarter for us, I thought our ball movement was pretty good in the first half. I didn't think we did as good of a job there in that third quarter. And I think our defense labored, and then obviously those guys putting the ball on the floor and attacking us. So after, the third quarter, we were kind of playing uphill to really get back in the game, and I thought the difference in the game was that third quarter.
Back row center, first question.
Coach, Brandon Sprague, 1080 The Fan, right here. What's been the biggest difference between the success you guys had in the regular season and being down 0-2 now against the Blazers?
I'm not quite sure I understand that question.
What's been the biggest difference between what you guys did in the regular season and what Portland's doing in this series?
Against Portland?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think in all the Portland games that we played them, it really could have gone either way, to be quite honest with you. We had a layup late in the game on a loose ball to win it. All those games have kind of came down. One went into overtime. So I think in a lot of ways those games could have gone either way. I think the game one had an opportunity, to go either way. It was, I think, 2 minutes, and we were down by one. Lillard made that shot. Certainly today, they in that second half really outplayed us, so it wasn't as competitive as maybe the last 5 games have been.
Front row to your left. Eric Horney, Oklahoma. Billy, I think the first 5 minutes of the third quarter, I think you guys have about 5 turnovers. Now, how important is it for to be able to get shots off in those possessions, particularly when y'all are a team that values pace? Getting shots up on the backboard, and as we've seen in the first 2 games, haven't shot the 3 ball very well. Yeah,
I think obviously turnovers are always going to hurt you when you're not getting a shot up at the basket. I think the other part of it for us was, I felt like we didn't move the ball as well as we needed to in the third quarter in terms of generating penetration, finding the open man, moving it when they were bringing help. We need to do a better job, and I thought in the first half we did a pretty good job of that. But in that third quarter, we didn't do nearly as good of a job. And, when we're getting downhill, making some reads. The other thing, too, is I thought we missed a lot of plays around the basket. I thought we missed a lot of layups and finishes around the rim. We didn't shoot it great from the free throw line either when we did get fouled. But I think trying to figure out ways to make the game easy for one another. And I thought we did that in the first half.
Second row on the right side.
Nick Gallo, OKCThunder.com. McCollum and Lillard scored in isolation quite a bit off the dribble. What's your assessment of just whether they're making great plays? Or
Yeah,
you guys need to defend better?
Some of it was well defended, and what makes those guys challenging is they shoot threes with range, and then they can play off the dribble, and they're really good off the dribble, and they got speed. So you've got to obviously get up on them, which creates more space. But I didn't think that they really totally hurt us in a lot of pick and rolls as much as, to your point, I thought we really had a hard time containing them on the dribble, just in space.
Second row, left side.
Kerry Eggers, Portland Tribune. Billy, 5 for 28 tonight on threes, 10 for 61 in the series. How do you explain that?
You're going to bring it up again over 2 games?
I'm sorry.
Again, I'm going to go back and look at the third quarter in particular, because I want to see what kind of looks we got. But I thought we generated pretty good shots in the first half. The third quarter, to Eric's point, we did turn the ball over. We didn't maybe have as good. But I didn't think that we, like Paul got off 15 threes, and I think they probably made a conscientious effort to eliminate some of those threes that he got off. So it wasn't like he took the same number he did last game. But I thought for the most part our team got fairly decent looks, and we're going to have to take them because as the ball gets driven downhill and teams bring help and they protect the rim, you just can't force it in there and take tough, ill-advised shots. And when the ball gets sprayed back out to the perimeter, when guys are open, it's hard to say, okay, we'll just drive right back into the help again and see if they move out of the way. You're going to have to keep the defense somewhat honest by making some of those shots. And clearly for the last 2 games, we have not shot the ball well. It was encouraging in game 1 that we obviously had a chance not shooting the ball well. I think some of the turnovers and the shot making of a little McCollum probably magnified the shooting for us. But you know, we're gonna have to, I mean, we offensive rebounded well, we got to the free throw line, we kept them off the free throw line. We did some good things, but, you know, certainly statistically, when you look down there, you know, the three-point line was a major difference, but we've just got to find a way to generate and try to generate good offense.
Billy, Brett Dawson with The Athletic. All season long, you guys have had these struggles shooting. You have these stretches. And often you've talked about whether you stick with the plan or kind of deviate. What's the key there to sticking with it? Why is it that some nights you guys can do that and some nights you sort of veer off?
In terms of, like, what do you mean, in terms of the ball movement? Yeah. You know, again, I think that, you know, like anything else, guys have got a lot of confidence and belief in themselves individually. I think there's a reason all these guys are up here at this level is because of that. You want guys playing confidently, you want guys playing aggressively, but, you know, we've got to understand at times, you know, a good shot, you know, versus a great shot, and trying to find that great shot. And it's a fine line, you know, because I thought there was a couple opportunities where guys had shots that I wouldn't say it was a bad shot, but there may have been one more pass that would have made it a great shot, you know, and I think that's what we've got to try to do a better job of. So I don't think it was, you know, necessarily that, hey, the whole third quarter, all we did, now we turned it over too much, but it wasn't like we just took all bad shots on every possession, but there were some times that we maybe could have gotten better ones.
Yeah, Billy, Barry Trammell with the Oklahoman. Even if you start shooting it better, it's going to be difficult to outshoot the Blazers with McCollum and Lillard out there. What do you have to do in Oklahoma City outside of the shooting that you haven't done in Portland to be successful?
Yeah, I don't know. I think, you know, if you look statistically, I think on the offensive rebounding, the free throw line, now the free throw line, they got to it more than we did in game one. We took 7 more shots than they did last game. You know, we're going to have to generate, obviously, more points. You know, I mean, that's really what it comes down to. I think that we're trying to get to the offensive glass, which we've done a pretty good job of. We've tried to keep them off the free throw line. I thought some of it got skewed because we had a foul late in the last game to extend the length of the game. You know, our turnovers tonight were a little bit higher, but for the most part, our turnovers are down. I mean, we're not shooting the ball great, and we had 21 assists tonight. Like, I think our guys are intentionally trying to play the right way. And I think if some shots can go down, that would certainly help. But I think it's just like all the controllable things. I thought we did a much, much better job defensive rebounding tonight. I thought we got hurt on the offensive glass by them late in the game. In game one, we did a much better job, I thought, you know, rebounding across the board. You know, so I think our guys are, you know, are really trying and giving forth effort. You know, we talked about coming out of the first quarter and not having that kind of quarter that we had in game one. We did a much better job. But, you know, there's going to be on the road like that when this momentum swings, you know, you got to try to really, really be able to regroup and, you know, find ways to stop some of it. I thought we did that a little bit in the first half, maybe not so much in the second.
Last question, back row right.
Brian Brinkley, KFOR TV. Coach, we saw their bench kind of give them Sparks, Hood, Leonard, Curry there in the middle part of the game. It seems like your bench hasn't been contributing in those little ways along the way. How important was that tonight and going forward in the series?
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that. I thought our bench was really good in the first half. I mean, those guys did a really, really nice job, and I think if you look at them, they're all pretty much were all in the plus column there, so they did a pretty good job out there while they were out there. You know, we kind of switched up the rotation a little bit there, just tried to get a different look because I thought we were laboring a little bit on offense in the middle of the third, so ended up, you know, moving Paul to the power forward spot and tried to play with some guards there. So our rotations there maybe were a little bit different there in the second. But I thought our bench, the guys that came off the bench, really, for the most part, for the minutes they played, I thought they gave us a nice lift and, you know, did a good job in game one, and I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, their bench played well. I mean, Leonard played well off the bench, and so did Hood and Curry, so I'm not taking anything away from them. But I didn't think it was like our guys off the bench played poorly tonight.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.